Hi Coreen, I'm Elora. I'll be your nurse today.
Hi.
What brings you in today?
Well, I just moved to Canada and I want to become a healthcare worker. But to do that, I have to get all my vaccinations caught up. And I don't have my hepatitis B one, and that's what I'm scheduled for today. But I feel like I don't really know anything about hepatitis B, so I'd like to know more about it before I get it.
Okay. Well, hepatitis B is an infectious disease spread by blood and body fluids. So this can cause a potentially life-threatening infection of the liver. It happens when a virus called hepatitis B infects the hepatocytes of the liver.
I don't even know what hepatocytes do.
So normally the liver is composed of functional units called hepatic lobules. So blood vessels run through these lobules, and smaller cells called hepatocytes filter the blood as it passes through. So it detoxifies the blood by breaking down harmful substances into harmless versions that can move safely throughout the body. So it breaks down worn-out blood cells, turning the hemoglobin into bilirubin, which then dissolves in water and is excreted. So it metabolizes nutrients such as amino acids, glucose, and fatty acids to produce energy. So it also stores this glucose for releases between meals and helps produce bile for digestion.
Bile is a yellow-green alkaline solution containing bile salts, bile pigments, cholesterol, triglycerides, and electrolytes. The bile moves into the small intestine, and one of its functions is that bile salts help to keep triglycerides from reattaching to each other once they are broken down into fatty acids. This process is called emulsification of fats, and the bile salts coat the fatty acids in smaller groups of fatty acids and monoglycerides, and this grouping is called a micelle.
So how does the virus work?
Well, someone can be infected by the virus by a needle stick injury, by having unprotected sex with somebody who has the virus, or by an infected mother giving birth to a baby.
Once infected, the virus will target the host cell by attaching onto its cell membrane. Once there, it releases RNA into the plasma of the host cell, which then moves into the nucleus of the host. This RNA uses the host cell's metabolic machinery to replicate itself, and this damages the cell's ability to function normally. This is the first way that hepatitis injures the body.
The second way it injures the body is when the immune response is activated to fight off the virus. The invaded cells display a specific presenting protein from the membrane that the white blood cells recognize as now being foreign, or what we call non-self MHC proteins. The cell then recognizes these and cytotoxic T cells will attack the entire cell in order to kill off the virus. When the cell is destroyed, the body creates a protective cover of scar tissue around the destroyed cells, creating what is now necrotic tissue.
So the lack of functional hepatocytes disrupts homeostasis in the body in many ways. So one way is that the liver's ability to produce bile and digest our lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates is hindered. So this may lead to abdominal pain, nausea, and vomiting. So this lack of ability to break up lipids into fatty acids causes large globules to continue through the intestines until they are excreted, causing fatty, clay-colored stools.
Another problem is that the infected hepatocytes no longer have the ability to store glucose or metabolize nutrients, which leads to fatigue. Also, the liver is no longer very good at breaking down red blood cells, and this can leave a toxin called bilirubin to be insoluble in water and unable to excrete. Bilirubin will then build up in tissues and cause a yellowish pigment to the skin and eyes called jaundice and a dark urine.
So the extent on tissue necrosis would depend on the individual's immune response. So a quick response would cause cell injury but eliminate the virus, and a slow response would never get ahead of the virus and therefore would cause a long-term hepatitis called chronic hepatitis.
I understand why it's a good idea to get a vaccination now.
Well, the incidence of hepatitis B has been greatly reduced since the invention of vaccinations. So the vaccine is actually recommended for everybody, and it provides antigens which promote a quick immune response and removal of the virus if you do get hepatitis B.
Well, I guess it's injection time.
Hepatitis is known as inflammation of the liver.
This is because your hepatocytes are damaged by your own immune response trying to rid your body of the hepatitis B virus that is hidden within them.
It can be both acute or chronic,
and it can have an overall impact of your body's ability to function in a healthy manner.
It is spread by blood and body fluids and was once a very prevalent world health problem prior to vaccination programs.